Hey everyone, this is Mr. K with the last video for the Precalculus summer homework. This is section 22, the unit circle. And so there's not like a ton of like information I can provide. A lot of this is just memorizing a unit circle. I will kind of give you a little bit of advice. First is if you look at the unit circle, sometimes you'll see it like with coordinates going around the circle. Just know that the cosine of an angle is always going to equal like the x value. The sine of an angle is always going to be the y value, and tangent is always going to be equal to y divided by x. And a way that I can kind of show that to you is if I have like my unit circle here. Let's say I'm just going to pick an angle in the first quadrant. If I were to make that into a right triangle, using this as like my reference angle, I know that this would be opposite, this would be adjacent, and this would be hypotenuse. And like, so when we're thinking about when you graph a point here, this is like your x, this is like your y, and this is the radius of the circle, which should just be like 1. So when I do sine of that angle, it would be opposite over hypotenuse, so it would be like y over 1, which is just y. If I were to do cosine, it'd be adjacent over hypotenuse, which would be like x over 1, so that's just x. And then tangent would be opposite over adjacent, so that'd be like y over x. So that's kind of where those values come from, where that comes from. And then it's just really just, can you memorize the unit circle? So looking at the first problem here, cosine of 120 degrees, I kind of like to draw this out a little bit. So I know that 120 degrees is going to be like right here. And I know that that's the x coordinate. So I see that it's going like to the left, so I know it's going to be negative. And then I can see that it's shorter, so I know that it's going to just be negative 1/2. The y coordinate here would be like the square root of 3 over 2. And again, there's no great way of doing it other than just to memorize it. You can you could make a right triangle and do like the special triangle stuff that we did in the previous video, but nobody's got time for that. Just you do enough of this, you'll have them memorized. The sine of 225, so 225 degrees is going to be right down here. I know that that's going to be like negative square root of 2, negative square root of 2 for the coordinates, so my sine is just going to be negative square root of 2 over 2. Tangent of 300 degrees, I know that 300 degrees is going to be like right here. So I know that the x is going to be positive 1/2. I know that the y is going to be negative square root of 3 over 2. So my tangent is going to be negative square root of 3 over 2 divided by positive 1/2. Excuse me. And so here, like, the 2's will cancel, and you're just really left with negative square root of 3 over 1, which is just negative square root of 3. And that's it. You're done. The same thing, only now they're giving us the angles in radians. So for pi over 6, I know that's the same thing as like 30 degrees. So the cosine of that is just going to be the square root of 3 over 2. For, excuse me again, 3 pi over 2, that's like 270 degrees. So then I know that's like just straight down for our angle. And the y value there is going to be negative 1. Done. Last but not least, tangent of 5 pi over 4. 5 pi over 4 again is going to be right here. Same thing as like 225 degrees. So the x coordinate is negative square root of 2 over 2. The y coordinate is also negative square root of 2 over 2. So those assume me this is the y on the top, x on the bottom. Doesn't matter, it's the same thing on the top and on the bottom. So when you have that, everything's just going to cancel out and you're left with just 1. And a way to double check your work is you can type these into the calculator. I know it says directions without using a calculator, you are going to want to memorize your unit circle. But like if you're, oh my gosh, oh panicky, and it's not like a test or anything, you can just check your work, just make sure you're in the correct mode. So like here, I know I'm still in degree mode from previous work, so if I did the cosine of 120, this should come up as negative 0.5. Sure enough, it does. If I were to change my mode to radian, now let's just work on the last one there. It should equal 1. So if I did the tangent of 5 pi over 4, I see that it equals 1, so I know I'm doing this correctly. So that's it for the unit circle. I hope you found this video helpful, and have a great day.